Hello and welcome to the latest edition of 10 Minutes On, a podcast where we take something in the news and try to provide a bit more depth, context and analysis. I'm Burton, the host and creator of the podcast. I'm not a journalist, I'm an academic by training. I've taught politics and international relations at universities around the world, and this weekly exercise is my way of staying engaged with current affairs. If you enjoy it, do consider subscribing on your preferred platform. It's free and I intend to keep it that way. I'd also be grateful if you'd share the episode with friends or colleagues who might be interested. And if you're able to rate or review the podcast, that helps it reach a wider audience. This week, we're looking at what I would describe as a story about deflection. On Friday, Donald Trump said that his US administration would release government documents and files relating to aliens and UFOs. The immediate backdrop was comments made by Barack Obama, a previous president, on another podcast, where he was asked directly whether there was evidence of extraterrestrials. Obama said he had never seen any such evidence and dismissed the idea that aliens were being kept in underground facilities like Area 51. Trump responded by suggesting that Obama may have been referring to classified material and implying that he should not have done so. That accusation allowed Trump to position himself as a champion of transparency, the one willing to reveal what others supposedly conceal. This also fits with his previous rhetoric about declassifying other sensitive material. The JFK assassination files, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart, the aviator, and heavily redacted documents relating to Jeffrey Epstein. Yet when he was first asked in 2016 and again in 2017 whether he would declassify UFO files, especially those relating to Roswell, he said he would think about it. Nothing dramatic followed. Instead, what happened was more institutional. In 2020, the Pentagon acknowledged the authenticity of several US Navy videos dating back to 2004. Now referred to as unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Congress required an intelligence assessment. In June 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released an unclassified report examining 144 incidents. Officials indicated that roughly 95% could likely be explained as airborne clutter, atmospheric effects, drones or other man-made objects. A small percentage remained unresolved. Further congressional hearings followed in 2022 and 2023, and in 2024, the Pentagon released another report again concluding that there was no evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Earlier, between 2007 and 2012, the Defense Intelligence Agency had run the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, gathering and evaluating military and civilian reports. So why revive the issue now? One plausible explanation is deflection. Trump faces protests over immigration enforcement, criticism over the cost of living, legal setbacks to aspects of his tariff policies, and court rulings challenging arrests and deportations. Announcing imminent disclosure of sensational-sounding material shifts the conversation. It costs little and generates attention. But the story is bigger than one politician. Belief in alien life is widespread. A YouGov poll in November 2025 found that 56% of Americans believe aliens exist. Around three-quarters of both Democrat and Republican voters believe the government would hide evidence of UFOs if it had it. Democrats are somewhat more likely to believe UFOs are alien in origin and more inclined to say discovery would unite humanity. Yet overall, twice as many Americans think an alien visit would have negative rather than positive consequences for humankind. Globally, a 2018 survey found that 61% believed that intelligent alien life exists somewhere in the universe. Russia registered 68%, Mexico 61%, China 60%, Romania, Japan, India were all above 55%. The United States then stood at 45% in that data set. What is striking is what these figures do not show. There is no neat divide between democracies and authoritarian systems, no clear relationship with national wealth, and no consistent link with levels of trust in government. Historically, the period after 1945 was distinctive. Early post-war reports, particularly between 1947 and 1953, were primarily sightings, lights, disks, radar anomalies. After the mid-1950s, claims increasingly involved alien visitations and direct contact. That shift created a deeper epistemological problem. Sightings could in principle be investigated through physical traces or radar data. Contact narratives depended largely on personal testimony. Evidence was often absent, and belief rested on the credibility of individuals. This tension between knowledge and belief pushed the subject into contested territory, seen by critics as pseudoscience and by believers as suppressed truth. Governments responded. In the United States, Project Blue Book, running from 1952 to 1969, examined thousands of cases and concluded there was no national security threat. Many sightings were attributed to aircraft, satellite, debris, or balloons, yet suspicion that authorities were hiding information became part of the mythology. Stigma also played a role. Research by Daniel Stubbings, Sophie Ali, and Alexander Wong challenges the assumption that those reporting sightings are more neurotic or unstable. Their findings suggest the opposite. Individuals reporting sightings tend to score higher on openness, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and extroversion. Civilian reports often mirror military reports in tone and structure, yet only around 28% of those who claimed to have seen something reported it formally, and just 14% used a dedicated UFO reporting organization. Stigma and limited reporting channels appear to have led to significant underreporting. In the early 1990s, popular culture revived interest. Series like The X-Files captured widespread fascination with conspiracies and extraterrestrials. Yet at the same time, membership of UFO groups and subscriptions to specialist newsletters declined. The subject was becoming more niche, even as it flourished in fiction. After 9/11, public attention shifted towards terrorism and other threats. UFOs receded from the political agenda until their re-emergence after 2017. Other governments have also acted as well. In 2007, France's National Space Agency published details of around 1,600 sightings over 5 decades. In the UK, the Ministry of Defence stated that it had no evidence of UFOs posing a military threat and released its files in 2009. Would another round of declassification change much? Probably not. Many earlier sensational claims, crashed spacecraft, recovered bodies, have been debunked. Those inclined to distrust government are unlikely to be persuaded by further document releases. Those expecting revelation will likely be disappointed. More plausibly, declassification contributes to normalisation, treating unexplained aerial phenomena as routine matters of airspace safety and security rather than cosmic secrets. But there may be something in the timing. Just as the early Cold War created a cultural environment of heightened fear and speculation, today we live in a world of complex uncertainty. The collapse of the post-1945 international liberal order, the end of US unipolarity, and the rise of a competitive global system with China, a more multipolar regional environment as well, and emerging technological disruptions are all creating a sense of vulnerability. Add AI, with its coding unknowns and fragile global supply chains for computing materials, and a political figure like Trump, capricious and unpredictable in both foreign and domestic affairs, and it is easy to see why attention shifts to extraordinary possibilities, even if mostly as a form of psychological ballast. Finally, besides these broader political developments at work, there may also be some electoral consequences associated with UFO phenomena. A 2022 study by Shuhei Kitamura at Osaka University suggested that UFO sightings before US elections slightly increased support for Republican presidential candidates and boosted preferences for higher defense spending, with smaller effects on science and technology budgets. So if so, the politics of UFOs are not entirely symbolic. So as dramatic as the promise of disclosure sounds, the likely outcome is bureaucratic rather than transformative. The extraordinary tends to dissolve into paperwork. What is striking is not revelation, but how normalized the discussion has become. Now, before I go, if you enjoyed this episode, do consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. New episodes come out every Tuesday morning. I'm also very open to suggestions for future topics and for events that may be worth keeping an eye out on. If there's something on the horizon that you think deserves context and analysis, let me know through my social media channels at either LinkedIn or Blue Sky, or contact me on my website at www.guyburton.net so I can monitor it and perhaps cover it in a future episode. Thank you for listening. I'll speak to you again next week. Goodbye.